Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another happy-go-lucky show with the Funsters. We are Tottenham Hotspur. We're Tottenham Hotspur fans, and we also do finger tricks. Right, we played Aston Villa. Chris, I presume you weren't there as you're currently in Were you in Dubai? Are you in Luton? Where are you?
So I was actually watching the game via the telly in the Emirates airplane, which was quite novel. But I'm currently in the lounge at Heathrow, and in an hour and a half, I'll be heading out to the US. So it's been planes, trains, and automobiles in the last 24 hours, and plenty of Guinness.
Tony, I've always found Chris to be a massive show-off. Have you got any thoughts on our friendship?
How can you top that, mate? That's what I'd like to know.
So what did we think of the game? We've got half an hour with Chris, and then Tony and I are going to do the grown-up version, where we cram as many serial killers and sex pests in as possible in the time remaining. So what did we think of the game? Chris, you saw it in, 30,000 feet? Did that make any difference? Were we any better?
Well, when you're business class, somebody pampers your feet, so that's pretty nice. But it was a disappointing effort for me. Tony and I will agree to disagree, but I thought Vicario's positioning for the first goal was far too far off his goal line, and he should never have conceded that. A top goalkeeper doesn't. You had Spence playing left back, but every time he got the ball, he wanted to cut in on his right foot, being right-footed, and that caused us problems. I thought Danso acquitted himself admirably. I like him, decent player, no nonsense. But then there comes the problem in front of him. You had Palhinha and Bentancur, and it just doesn't work. Throughout that game, we were lacking any creativity. On the left, you had Mathis. No, you didn't. You had Odebear. And up front, you had Tell. It's like going into a gunfight with a water pistol with those two. They will never be sufficient for Premiership football. It's like the ghost of Daniel Levy still lives on. And we've got substandard junk that no other team in the Premiership would consider fielding. And then I know there's a player in there somewhere, and I hope that he's going to come good at some point. But Xavi Simons is hardly setting the world alight for me in a Spurs shirt at the moment. Then in front of him, Tell didn't do anything. And what did we do? We brought on Richarlison, who for 38 minutes did touch the ball. So as the game progressed, Villa grew into it, and I was sitting there thinking they're going to get something from this. Yeah, a good goal by Buendia, but we struggled. We're suffering from impotence in the final third, and our attacking play. Yes, we've shored things up. We're not conceding goals, but we're not gelling. Is that because he doesn't know what his best attacking options are, or are we just asking him to work miracles with absolute crap? And it's 3 home defeats on the bounce, and the atmosphere seemed quite subdued yesterday. So we are far from making the Tottenham Stadium a fortress in any capacity.
I couldn't agree more. Tony, did you see the game?
I did indeed. I think.
Thank you very much. That's all we needed to know at this time. So,
okay, I bid you farewell.
No, go on. Sorry.
I think Frank is is very much into the major turd polishing part of his career with this lot. I totally agree with you, Chris, that Odebear and Tell. Can we just please acknowledge the Tell experiment has failed abjectly, to say the least. That this guy is not a football player of any sort of decent quality. As you said about Simons, there may be a good footballer in there somewhere. It just ain't going to be at Tottenham. He just doesn't fit what we want. He doesn't fit. I think Frank does feels like, Christ, I've got such a shite 11. I've got no choice but to play him. And I might be sort of preempting you a little bit here, but I'm just going to set this up for you because I know you like these things.
Oh dear.
Christian Romero getting injured in the warm-up just after an international break. Over to you, H.
Well, first of all, I'm here on behalf of the Moon Landings Never Happened conspiracy theory party, so I'll have to take my tinfoil hat off. All I wanted to say, really, is are you at the knife throwers convention there, Chris? Is that or are you in a Weatherspoons? It's difficult to tell.
No.
No, stop talking. Two things that impressed me, because I want to start on a positive, because some nitwit, I have to add this, some nitwit yesterday on the YouTube, I was watching the game in a pub in Birmingham with a Villa fan, which is my nodding contribution to authenticity. And he said to me on the YouTube thing, because I did a half time and I did a full time, and of course we lost the game. And said, "Oh, I've never heard you happy about anything." So first of all, whoever you are, well, you won't be able to comment on this because I've got rid of you. What a ridiculous person you are! We lose, and you're questioning why somebody would be unhappy. But anyway, positives: Rodrigo Bentancur, 84% passing accuracy, which, given his advanced position, I thought was exceptional, and 82% Joao Palhinha. Really, really, really useful footballers. But beyond them, everybody else was as flat as a pancake.
I've got to say, despite the good stats that you've just pulled out the air, Bentancur was at fault for that first goal. He was ball watching. He didn't close down, and you think.
Absolutely, but this was just all I was commenting on is the rest of the game. I mean, if he'd shot somebody point blank range in the first couple of seats in the stadium, that would have been a colossal negative that would have wiped out the good as well. I freely admit that, but I'm just saying, in terms of being able to find your players in your own team seems to be something which we are struggling with, and nobody else in the team apart from those two individuals were actually capable. Vicario, I've had enough. And this isn't a snap judgment. The guy isn't a very good goalkeeper. He made a very good save where he came out and punched the ball, but that caused more problems. Kinski, we are told by Sammy Motbell, formerly of the Daily Mail, now of the BBC, that he's hearing that he's let everybody down in training. I have to say that Mockbell doesn't strike me as the sort of dweeb that we get at the likes of Reach PLC. Yes, Alistair Gold, my beer, I'm talking about you. And so there might be some truth in that, in which case we need to go shopping and stop dilly-dallying, hoping that a 28-year-old is going to get better. Goalkeepers improve as they get older. We know that, but he's too bad at the moment. The rest of the class was found wanting. Porro got himself in endless muddles, and I mean he won a few ground duels. I'll give him that. His passing, again, because he's playing this right winger, which he's again not good at. He is the futon of footballers. And not very good bed and not very good sofa. Just go out and buy one or the other. Don't go out and buy a Porro. And Danso, I agree, but I've got to say this throw-in business is turning into a novelty act. And the business that we had a towel, and I was just reminded of watching Rory Delap 20 years ago, whenever that was. Jed Spence, have to agree with you. He was, again, a Jekyll and Hyde sort of thing. His passing rate was 100%, but he got so much else wrong. And when it comes to Kudus didn't have a brilliant game, but by goodness me, there is a decent footballer in there. His passing rate was 86%, and he didn't do much wrong, but he didn't do much right, and that's what's marked him down. But Simmons was a disappointment, but Odobert and Tell are absolute washouts. And for the love of the baby Jesus and the orphans, I cannot tolerate any more people telling me to be kind and wait. There's nothing there.
So 3 things, if I may. First thing was there were whispers last week of Ter Stegen from Barcelona potentially being available. Jump on that every day of the week. And another one we probably should have considered, which we missed, which we spoke about during the summer, Tony, was Aaron Ramsdale. I think he'd have made a lot better goalkeeper for Tottenham than the double act of clowns that we've got. The second point.
No good, honestly. We need somebody that's oven ready. ready to go, not somebody. Oh, if you longer hands,
Age has gone bye-byes. Age has gone bye-byes.
Yeah.
I can't
And
cope with that. Honestly, it's like saying, put my brother in goal. We need to go out and spend 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 million quid on a David Raya, an elite level goalkeeper. Not there's something coming down the line. It's in the post. Sorry.
Second point is that we went from playing Papa Matsar, who was scoring goals, looked really lively, had loads of energy, alongside Palhinha, to reverting to Bentancur and Palhinha starting week in, week out. And I'm thinking, why is that? When you need somebody who offers something a little bit different. We've tried the combinations of Bergvall in alongside Palhinha, Bergvall in alongside Bentancur, Papa Matsar in alongside one of them. I can't see why we've reverted to this defensive duo, which, if you're away to Man City and you want to win a game where you're not going to have a lot of the ball, is sensible. But at home, the last 3 games, for me, it doesn't work.
Like yesterday proved to me, though. I think yesterday proved, well, not improved, not that we didn't already know this, but yesterday proved as much as well that we are so lacking in any form of real true attacking premise. Which is why he's
played defensive lineups, because he knows that we're going to lose possession, and he's got to have something there to help mop up the counter attacks.
Yeah, because I agree with you, Chris. I think Sarr and Paulinho work so much better than Bentancur and Paulinho. 100% he does.
No energy.
Sarr has energy, and he has attacking. He's attacking midfielder. He will want to go forward. He'll want to play the ball forward. And the problem, as H just correctly said, is that we don't have any attackers to hold the ball up. So the ball's, as soon as we're going forward, the ball's coming straight back at us all the time. And it's not a mystery that, in a lot of the games that we're playing, we're conceding a lot of territory and we're conceding a lot of possession. I know that possession doesn't tell you everything, but it starts to tell you something when it happens game after game after game after game. Then it means something. And that's the reason, like you said, H, that we're not getting anywhere, is because we're conceding the ball up front when we should have quality people holding the ball, or at least getting past their defenders. Odegaard couldn't score in a brothel. I'm not joking. He's just awful.
No, I think more accurately, he couldn't score in a Vietnamese brothel with a pocket full of rice.
There's a man who speaks from experience.
Well, actually, I stole that joke from an old American barman who'd served in Vietnam called Len, and he used to say that about anybody useless that came into the pro. See that guy? He couldn't score in a chain.
Oh man, I think we have to adopt that. But honestly, and the thing is that when you look at the bench, you've got the likes of Tell and Odegaard just wasting space. And then you have the tap-in merchant, which I still don't understand why Frank won't at least experiment with it. Brennan Johnson, who cannot possibly do anything else competently apart from tap the ball in. And yesterday, he wasn't just woeful; he was bloody woeful in his brief cameo. And it was just like him and Richarlison. Why were you there? You brought nothing to the game. The only touch Richarlison had was a defensive header. That is his only touch, I think, from memory, and that tells you everything about that guy.
Brennan Johnson had one shot. Let me just get this so I can read it. Had one shot, no shots on target. Brennan Johnson had
the shot that Brennan Johnson had.
He made 2 passes, one of which went to a Tottenham player. That's
well, mate. The shot that Brennan Johnson had, mate, was so off target it ended up being a goal kick, I think. I'm not joking. It was that bad. It was about 40 yards to the wider of the goal.
But that brings us back again to Vicario. What is he, retarded or something? They can't even kick a goal kick. It's ridiculous that we have to rely on Mickey van der Ven to take our goal kicks, and when we do pompously try and play out from the back, teams close us down really quickly. We concede possession. It's just I just don't understand what we're trying to do there.
I have to say, in respect to Frank, I respect him, blah, 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 all the usual bum flufferys. But goodness me, when you watch a player like Richarlison, like Vicario, every time he gets the bloody ball at his feet, it goes wrong. You have to say, this must stop. This must stop.
You've gone from Harry Kane and Heung-min Son to Oda Berentel. Let that sink in for one moment.
Well, do you know, you don't even need to give us their names. They're leftovers. They're leftovers that have been found wanting. I mean,
their legacy.
they're
the legacy of Danny Boy. Let's buy cheap in the hope that somebody comes good, as opposed to buying what we really need. So we're left with skeletons in the changing room that are crap. They're not fit for purpose.
Well,
if you kept the receipt, you'd be asking for your cash back.
We're left with, if you look at that team, if you scratch a name through the following players, not under their name, but through their name: Vicario, Odebear, Tell, Simmons. I mean, you're fielding 25-30% of blank shirts, empty shirts, and this is Daniel Levy's legacy. What I will say, which I have to say, because it's fair, it has to be said trying to be balanced. We need to see, after all this pomp and circumstance, and all, because all the other stuff was nonsense. Now Levy has gone. If the Lewis family's intentions are honourable or not, or are they just rebranding themselves in order to keep clawing the cash out of the sacred cow? If they're not, if their intentions are to just perpetuate what Daniel Levy was up to, and which I have to say is a transfer policy marked in hesitancy and weakness and fear. If they're going to carry on like that, and as they leave the meeting room, say as they get into the lift, well, at least we didn't behave like Chelsea. We've got to stop buying third-rate punts, thinking, as Tony says, that we can polish them up.
Daniel Levy reminds me, absolutely, mate. Daniel Levy reminds me of one of these programs you see on one of the cable channels, like these people who go around trying to sort through people's backyards and to find little nuggets of gold, and these American pickers and things of this nature, which are like that. Daniel Levy was like that. He's like that. That's what Daniel Levy was. He was hoping he could go around the graveyard of players and buy somebody quite cheap and hope he's going to be able to sell it on and get a good price for it. He's just he was just a version of that. Absolutely.
That makes me that, and it comes down to on current attacking options are limited to non-existent. So if you're good enough, you're old enough, which makes me ask why that young lad who's just signed his first professional contract that's banging goals for fun in the under 21s isn't getting game time.
They have, to me, again, this comes with the new broom needing to sweep clean opposed to just pottering around, pushing the dust from one place to another. They have to come up with a strategy with the academy which is focused upon realising the talent and giving us an injection into the arm, which makes us, a poorly patient, makes us feel much better about things and a lot less like we're about to drop off the perch. We've got to see these players play. And I do want to guard them. I do not wish to be irresponsible. But we cannot go along with this endless thing. I mean, we've got Yang, whatever he is.
Doing well at Portsmouth, I've got to say.
His goals and assists I've been putting up on the .com, he's worth watching as a footballer. We could do with somebody like him in our first team. I know the leap from the division he's in to ours might be a challenge, but for goodness sakes, let's get on with it. He's not going to become a significantly better player playing for bloody Portsmouth.
But you look at the rest of those out on loan, and they're having a bit of a disaster in truth. Mikey Moore, it couldn't got any worse for him at Rangers. You've got Ashley Phillips and Donnelly at Stoke. You couldn't kick a ball between them. They get splinters in their arse as they're on the bench every week.
I have no idea why Mikey Moore, given the paucity of options that we have on our roster, has not been given a proper chance at Tottenham Hotspur. No. It doesn't make any sense. And they send him to the wilds of Scotland.
Under Russell Martin.
Which I've been through under Russell Martin, who should be presenting a drawing program for children on TV. That guy's a special needs case. The last contribution he does in the Premier League was telling everybody how good Ange was.
He may be, but he does get to jump on Lucy Pinder every night.
Well, we'll have Lucy down here, and we can play her in goal. At least she might distract the people that are coming in on the Italian, who's too busy leaping around like an unemployed sea lion.
Well, he's had enough, and he's decided to just completely discombobulate himself.
Yeah.
And everything.
What's happened there?
Ellie.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but
yeah,
we can't see you, which some may think's a good thing.
Well,
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
added value to the program. We know that much.
Whereas, that this could be interesting when you go, Chris. It's just going to be me on the camera. So I'll just turn my camera off, shall I? Let's just do it. Let's do it.
Don't go anywhere yet, Chris, even if you miss your flight. What the heck?
Well, on the subject of Ange, anyway, a bit of Schadenfreude. Oh, a bit of Schadenfreude has just come in big time there, hasn't it? One does take pleasure in the misery of others, doesn't one?
I wonder what the Aussie hippie or whatever he calls himself, Paul, is currently thinking about Ange's demise.
Oh, the death of Ange has been exceptional. Who wants some good news?
I did find.
I'm opening a pub in Birmingham with a loose affiliation of gas meter thieves. It's in the city centre. It's a 10-minute walk from New Street.
Is it called the Gunmaker's Arms?
It's called the Gunmaker's Arms.
There you go.
It's not going to look like a pub. It's going to look more like a brothel, if I'm honest with you. It's security. I'm sorry. Because he has to tell him to go fuck himself. This is going to be an embarrassing moment for everybody.
I'm sorry, Chris, but mentioning jihad in the Emirates Air Lounge is probably not a good idea.
Yeah, sorry, sir. We have to ask you to come to one of our lower, less than VIP cells.
They've actually identified that I'm friends with Tony V and H, and it's caused a little bit for security concern.
Well,
so anyway,
what can you say?
Gunmaker's Arms will be opening before Christmas, and whilst it will be full of incredibly dynamic and exciting art, and obviously hookers and models and all that sort of thing, it is also going to be a dedicated Spurs pub when Spurs are playing in the West Midlands. So that could be Villa, West Brom, Birmingham City in the Cup or whatever it might be. And so you heard it here first. I will be doing videos to advertise it along the way, but it's going to be sensational, and we're sinking a ton of money into it. It's not a regular pub. It's going to be very much a corporate thing for the art community, because Mason Newman, if you can Google Mason Newman art, he did a collaboration with Ozzy Osbourne. He's got contracts signed with Kiss and the Rolling Stones, Youngblood, you name it. So it's going to be a bit of a hub for the city, and we're very excited about it.
Well, since you mentioned hookers, Tony's disappeared.
Yeah, well, he's disappeared to his little safe under the floorboards to just check the missus in the house.
Yeah, so we look forward to joining you for the opening. I'm guessing that we'll be on the VIP list, and it'll be free beer all night.
You'll like this even more. There is actually a VIP room called Studio 54, and it's got blackout curtains, two-way glass.
Pretentious and wanky, absolutely my thing.
Exactly what you ordered from the doctor. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
So all our current...
It won't be sugar though, mate, will it? It won't be sugar. That's the problem.
Rohypnol, sponsored by H.
Brought to you in conjunction with Timothy Leary and the CIA's finest LSD.
MK Ultra UK style.
So you have any themed rooms at the pubs? Any sort of sex dungeons to appeal to Tony?
Curiously enough, we've got rooms above, which probably won't be open until the new year. We've already leased out one of the apartments. But yeah, there's about 6 rooms above, and they're all going to be themed with original artwork and stuff. So,
point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes,
it can't be called a sex dungeon if they're above.
Where we put it, we'll just call it the "You Found It" room.
So all it says to me at the moment is we can't wait for Madison to come back soon enough. And we could really do with getting Kudus back in the building.
We live in an age where Marks and Spencers are selling during tennis. They're selling, what is it, a strawberry and cream cheese sandwich Yesterday or the day before, I bought from Tesco a Christmas dinner sandwich, which I have to say was insanely tasty.
Oh, they're
Cranberry,
great. They're great, those sandwiches, mate.
cranberry,
Absolutely spot on.
turkey, bacon, sausage, and stuffing, and it was just on a meal deal, $3.98. Couldn't get enough of it. And you're telling us that Spurs are going to be reintroducing the cheese sandwich as soon as he comes out of hospital. And it's not even an interesting cheese. It's just a mild cheddar.
Well, at least it's a cheddar that can pass the ball and find his teammates.
Well, I hope so, because I just feel that we're pinning our hopes, and it's another one of those things that the Spurs player's out of action for a while. He becomes a legend in his own lifetime. Kulusevski, we are desperate to get back. I know that much.
Well, I think the next player, then, based on the cheese theme, would probably be Mr. Paratici. Will go somewhere to Italy and get a Mr. Gorgonzola. I hear he's quite good. And H was so stunned by that, he actually went into silence.
Sorry, that somebody was just making a comment about me doing a video for the pub and commenting on my shortness of breath. So they're going to get the full both barrels about my pulmonary sarcoidosis, and then have a little think about their lives.
Sit back, gentlemen, enjoy the ride.
Buckle up, this is going to hurt.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, we need a statement of intent, which is that terrible football language, but we need to see something from the Lewis family that shows a different pathway. You know, this is a massive change is required, a proper shake of the box. This isn't going to be, oh, now here's another one for the future. And do you know something? I don't want to hear about the women's football. It's not sustainable financially. I wish everybody well. That's my default setting. But this whole tummy, blandola, blah, blah, blah. I'm not interested. Not interested. I support Tottenham Hotspur since a child because of the men's football. The women's football has an audience, but they cannot afford or they will not pay the going rate. Advertisers aren't interested. So the Lewis family need to get in lane. They need to check themselves. And I would suggest they actually set up separate social media accounts. Let's see the wood for the trees. Let's focus on getting the men's team up where it ought to be. And then we can say, hey, this model that we've adopted for the men's team works. Let's impose that on the women's team within the budgets and the restrictions and the blah, 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 blah. But we need to remember who we are and what we are. And being this jack of all trades, master of none, just simply doesn't cut it. And we need to see less of this corporate globalist speak about, oh, yeah, we're really looking forward to. No, get some talent in and make this team win stuff. And so we're not reliant on the leftovers and the hand-me-downs, which we get from the clowns like Levy and bloody Crocodile Dundee. Absolute moron.
Guys, I'm going to have to jump ship in a couple of minutes, but yeah, I'll let you revert to your childish ways and discuss everything serial killer based, sort of sexual predator based, and whatever other base you want.
Listen, mate, when you get your head out, literally get your head out of the clouds, come back to terra firma, you will be. Hang on, sorry, just a minute, Madeline, no, just go in the bucket, love.
Yeah. So what you're saying basically, Chris, is we're just going to talk about your life as in your everyday living for you then.
Well, H seems to think it's funny, so yeah, I'm guessing it'll feed a few one-liners. But look, you've got your favourite Dane back. Johan's been promoted. The future's supposedly going to be rosy under him, and we're welcoming back a director of football who one of his accolades was signing Emerson Royal. So what else can go wrong on his shift? Oh, and Gill.
Brian Gill, I think is tremendous. Emerson Royale, Gallini, was that the goalkeeper?
Yeah, Pierluigi Gallini.
You're missing out on one of the greatest goalkeeping blunderers of the 21st century. I don't know how you do it.
Go on. I thought you would go clips that with another name.
I can't think of anybody else because my brain is fused.
Steep Pleticosa.
God almighty, that's going back some.
Yeah.
How many toothpicks are still in the box, Raymond?
You forget I am like the Rayman. I am retarded when it comes to Tottenham players of the past. But to your
Just
answer,
start-
6.
Yeah, just let's leave it. Let's just leave it retarded, shall we?
Anyway, 2's company, 3's a crowd. I'm going to leave you two to have some fun. And
Have a wonderful time, and remember,
Yes,
it is
indeed.
no longer to use phrases such as "whore" or "pinch ladies' bottoms" just because they're handing out drinks.
Well, that's not allowed.
No, all of that stuff is gone. You can't do that anymore.
Anyway,
And
keep
when they
it real.
run out, when they refuse to stop serving you, that is not your cue to say, "I want to drive the bus."
Right.
I want to fly the plane. I want to fly the plane.
I'll see you fucktards for an overview of the Monaco game, where hopefully dearest Eric will be back in the building.
Okay, give our regards to Eric Lamella, who I'm sure is in the seat adjoining you.
Yeah, and see you, and I wouldn't want to be here. Nice chatting, guys. I'll speak to you soon.
Later, potato.
Bye.
So anyway, Tony, have you got those magazines I lent you? They got all through in the post, all right? Did they?
Yeah. They were still a bit sticky, mate. You can at least wash them beforehand.
So, what do you think that needs to happen then? Because I don't think moaning about Tell and Odebear is going to get the baby washed.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, until as you've alluded to, as Chris alluded to as well, until we get the likes of Maddison and Kulu back, and God knows we slated Maddison on more than one occasion, but right now he's looking like Messi as far as we're concerned. Given the state of our midfield, things just aren't going to get any better. And if, as we've said, if Lewis and co genuinely do believe that they want to make this a going concern, then I don't think January is going to be pulling up any trees, because nobody really pulls up trees in January. But we're going to need at least something to show that we're willing to do something.
Well, I tell you something.
And get on with it.
For the first time in many a moon, I have been seeing online a lot of decent suggestions of players that could be brought in. Only one or two, or three or four in total, but they aren't cheap, and they're not in this division. And I think they need to do something quite big, because I think they need to send out a message. And
I think Vlahovic would be a good signing if we can get Vlahovic, because I know he keeps constantly being mentioned, but he'd be a really good signing for us.
I think we need to address very straightforwardly. I think the goalkeeper thing we're going to have to muddle through until the summer. And I think, as usual with Spurs, they don't do change management well. But we were left with nobody to replace Harry Kane. We just went out and splurged 120 million on a couple of have-a-go heroes who neither of them have a decent CV. Neither of them. And I'm not interested in. I mean, isn't it funny that we're sat here saying that it's now a statement of fact, it's not opinion, that neither Solanke or Richarlison are any good? Most people who understand football, and all our subscribers understand football, they don't need to be told that Richarlison is going to come good, that he's Brazil's number whatever he is, because nobody cares, because they've got eyes in their head and their hearing is excellent. I mean, all of these things have failed. I mean, during the international break, I don't know if you saw the goals and assists that Tell and Odebear got against, I think it was it the Faroe Islands or somewhere, Finland, I don't know. But again, another third world footballing nation. And this was the under 18s or the under 21s, I can't remember. But some of the comments on social media, wow, yeah, baller. But, I mean, the opposition was dreadful. And they had yards of space, acres of time, but nobody has the ability to contextualise what they're watching. And what do we get against Aston Villa? We got Tell herring into the box and then immediately turns sideways before touching the ball properly, and then telegraphs the fact that he's not going for goal, and he has two or three players on him. The guy isn't fit for purpose.
Well, all I've got to say on that score is Aston Villa says, hold my beer. Because basically they completely neutralise them, as does every team that actually plays against us, because they're just rank crap. Simple as that. Odebear constantly looks like I don't recall ever actually seeing him beat a player. And guess what? When you're a winger, that's what you're supposed to do. That is part of your DNA, is beating your defender and getting decent crosses in. I've never seen a decent cross from him. I've never seen him beat a player. I don't know what the hell he's doing there. I really don't.
Well, I think we do know what he's doing there, and a lot of fans who don't subscribe to this channel, because I have to say we built this channel with a mind to bringing adults and people who understood football to one place, opposed to the Chuckle brothers, the Spectrum twins, and Chris Shouty Foghorn Cowlan. They're all on the spectrum. And they're shouting and going, yeah, we're brilliant, champions of Europe. They're still waving at a bus in their head, whereas we're looking at leftovers. You know, this is a team of leftovers. We've got 4 or 5 decent players, but we've got very few elite level players. And even then, you look at bloody Romero. Oh, my foot hurts, or whatever the hell happened to him warming up in training. I mean, sorry, that cannot carry on. That cannot carry on. It's not how you do business.
I smiled when that happened, because my mind, and you know, you can take this in any way, shape, or form that you feel you choose. But my mind immediately sprang to you when that happened, because I thought he must have something to say about that, because that's been a regular theme of yours, isn't it, to say the least?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we there needs to be an appreciation of where we are, and the less mindless cheering and mindless shouting. And I've said this before. I mean, I remember going to comedy shows, and a guy said to me in an art centre, I overheard a conversation and made a comment, and he said, "Isn't it a bit sad that people get together to go to a place in order to laugh? Isn't it? It's like there's something missing in their lives." And I thought it was a bit pretentious. I mean, I've been to see stand-up comics. It's not like a sort of therapeutic thing. It's like, the guy's funny, I want to go and see him.
Yeah.
It's like when you're inviting people out on a Saturday night. Well, we definitely need to make sure Tony's there, because he will have us rolling in the aisles. You know, it's just common human nature. But the reality is that I think there's a lot of people don't have much going on in their lives who are following football. The quality of some of the comments is just desperate, just detached, absolutely detached.
Well, you know, it's the kind of drowning man theory, isn't it? I think when you're drowning, you'll clutch at any straw just to save yourself. And I think mentally, I think that's where a lot of Spurs fans are at the moment, because we've been stripped of any. Yes, we won the Europa League last year, and that was one brief oasis, or a brief island of respite, if you like, in an otherwise absolutely drowning world, as far as Tottenham Hotspur PL bloody, not even PL bloody C, bloody Tottenham Hotspur entertainment industries.
Monaco Inc.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is, and that's what it has been over the last few seasons. Was a brief respite in an otherwise pretty shitty world. As far as we're concerned, because we've had our isolated big, you know, we can always beat City, whoopee do, but we don't do anything else, you know, and we always go and lose to the likes of, you know, Aston Villa and what. Okay, you know, it just, I think people just look for the glimmers and rays of hope, and then they don't dare come on this program, because we won't present them with those rays of hope. We'll present them with things, little tiny inconvenient things. I think what's the name for them?
Oh, yeah, did they
facts.
F? Yeah. The F word. The F
The F word. Yeah.
But you see, the thing is, I mean, we look at things, and I think it's right to do so. You had a great time watching the Europa League victory at the stadium, and I'm never going to be able to take that away from you, nor would I want to, because I'm not a sociopath. But the reality is, and I wouldn't wander around the bloody stadium while everybody's screaming and jumping up and down, throwing beer around. But the reality is, you look at it, and we beat 10 really crappy sides in order to win that competition. Now, you can't say it doesn't count, but you need to contextualise things, because otherwise you're going to perpetuate the myth that Ange Postecoglou is a decent coach at this level. And he isn't. He needs to go back. He needs to go back to Japan, to Scotland, to all of these other places that nobody in their right mind would go to watch football, and he can blow their minds. I don't think Marinakis is a sane individual, so that's if you will, a separate issue. They should have stuck with Nuno. But Marinakis is a fiddler. He's a tinkerer. He cannot leave well alone, wandering around with his iPhone 5, starting arguments with himself.
In the last season and a little bit that Ange was in management, yeah, he had 45 games in charge and lost 29 of them.
Yeah. It's
because now please tell me he's a quality manager.
It's because at this level he is fundamentally out of his depth. And that's fine. I'm quite good at doing certain things, but for example, if I was flying Chris's plane, he wouldn't arrive at his destination. You know, that's the reality.
Unless that happens to be the afterlife.
Well, if his destination was to meet his great grandparents, I'd get him there double quick. But the truth is, you need to know your limitations. You need to stay in your lane, and we desperately need the Lewis family to up their presence and show us that they're not the same as the jackal, the hyena that they had to sack. Because if they don't, then we're set for more of the same. And this is going to be like that scene in Oliver, please, sir, can I have some more? And we go through the same cycle of people not wanting to ask for more because you disappear into a different room and you're never seen again.
Well, there's also another problem on the horizon when you consider the likes of Van der Ven and in the relatively, the extremely modest wages that he is on, and him being one of our only quality players of any real distinction, you could say is an absolute asset. If we don't start shoring up the ship on that score, then we will be in real trouble. So from that point of view, we've got to make sure that we also look after the assets that we do have that we can actually still retain.
Well, don't forget, this is very simple, and I frequently refer to racehorsing because it's a sport that I used to know and have an awareness of and all the rest of it. This is like handicapping a horse. And for those of you that don't know, I will tell you, there will be some of you screaming, he's having a go at the handicapped. They put pieces of lead in the saddle. And the idea of the horse racing people is to make sure that the handicapper makes sure that all the horses are on the same level. We are being handicapped by a handicapper called Daniel Levy at the moment. We've still got his lead in our saddlebags, and we need to bring in horses that don't get handicapped, that are allowed to run at their natural ability. And you only get that by paying good money. Now, I'm not shouting, let's go spend crazy, because we already have. The ENIC have spent a fortune under Daniel Levy. It was never about what they spent, how much they spent. It was about what they bought with it. And this is where we need to get the levels right so the thing actually works. And if they don't, we're going to be in trouble. And we're going to be starting. There were already people having a poke and a dig at Thomas Frank. I have to say respectfully, it's not all his fault. There are times when it's definitely the manager's fault, and Postecoglou is a shining example of a man out of his depth who doesn't know what he's doing. But this guy, we've seen before with Brentford, he's able to get a good tune out of mediocre players. And I mean, goodness me, I watched Bueno or Bueno Bar or whatever's goal for Manchester United yesterday against Liverpool. That guy, wow. But you see, Brentford had much greater control, or rather they didn't have a Daniel Levy handicapping them when they went out and bought players. And when I did that chat down the pub with Chris in Malvern, he made it very clear to me, bless him. He brought a list along of players that Brentford had recruited, and they made, on average, an 80% profit because they were buying a guy for a couple of mil and selling him for 40 mil. I mean, we're
having a good scouting network, Age. It's called having a decent scouting network that knows actually what they're doing, and having a decent director, whatever you want to call him. I'll just say the name. I'll chuck it out there because I've chucked it out there constantly. Paul Mitchell, somebody like him who actually knows what they're doing, actually recognises what a good player looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely, and the sooner we start bringing this in, and this is why I was banging on about this sort of corporate speak about we're very inclusive, we're very this, and obviously we touched on Peter Charrington's son. leave your home life at home. This is a football club. It's a men's football club. We're not trying to start a misogyny war here, okay? But there are certain things like women's football that at the moment, for right or wrong, don't work. So let's not be super inclusive. Let's just focus on the day job. And I want to rip that bloody sign down, that flag down for a start, to send out a message. This is the day job, is running a football club. This isn't a drop-in centre for people who need emotional support. And I can see the proud Lily-Whites going up in flames hearing these words. But I'd like to get one of them on as a guest and tell me what they are doing to promote football, what they are doing, how they feel about the actual game, the actual squad. Because until we make that the number one focus, because it felt like a weight was lifted when they sacked Levy, because everything that I'd heard offline, much of which I could never print or never share on a podcast, was true. Don't tell me it wasn't true. All you monkeys out there that were telling me, oh, no, it's all done by committee. Oh, no, it's all fine. Look at the stadium. You were all wrong. I was right. I know that is very aggressive language, but what do you want me to tell you? I'm terribly sorry that I got 99% of it right. They got rid of him, and now we need to continue the good works. Because if they don't do that, we're in the same boat, but with a different branding above the door.
Even if you're not in the know, and which many people would not be, and certainly not in a position where you have the kind of insider knowledge and
you mean in my elite guru status?
Absolutely, chief wanker to the stars, that sort of thing.
Wanker amongst wanks.
Yeah, exactly. You wank as high as anybody in Rome. The facts speak for themselves. If Levy had done such a wonderful job and was so well renowned, he wouldn't have been unceremoniously turfed out as quickly as he was. And it wasn't just a case of there's a lead up to this. It was like, bang, he's gone. That is it. End of story. There was no thank you for your. Yeah, they gave him a little. Even the kind of announcement was very much cloaked in a disingenuous load of nonsense about thank you very much for everything. They even barely acknowledged that. They basically said, yeah, we've got fucking rid of him. That's the end of the matter. We move on.
He was for anybody joining us late. And again, if you want to throw something stupid into the comments, I would suggest you have a made up name so none of your friends, neighbours or employers can see how daft you are. He was subject to an internal investigation. Donna Cullen was booted out, and then he was booted out, but they took all of his electronic devices, including his phone and his laptops and his computer. This was serious. He's no longer welcome back. He's certainly not going to be allowed anywhere near any of their executives. He has been treated like a poisonous little thing, a cyst that's been removed. So, we've gone over this a dozen times. It's down to the Lewis family to ensure that they then double down on this and they realise that they hit a home run. I mean, last night we were watching the game. Had Levy still been on the premises, the "We want Levy out" chants would have been ringing around the stadium. Playing defensively at home and losing to a team in 13th. Now, I know it's early in the season, but Villa have been improving, and we've seen that. It's a fact. They evidenced it by beating us yesterday. But the "We want Levy out" chants would have been reverberating around the stadium. There's no two ways about it. So
I think when you look at someone like Thomas Frank, what he's trying to do, and I know there's a lot of people who said, well, you can't play a settled team. It's very difficult to play a settled team when you basically have a bunch of 90% of them are morons. You're constantly trying to shuffle the deck, as it were, shuffle the pack, so you try and get a decent hand somewhere along the line. And Frankie's too good for that lot, based on everything we've seen. He gets quality out of, he does get, as we talked about, he gets the Brentford have invested in the diamonds in the rough. He's then polished them into diamonds and then made them into really good team players. I think he's realizing very quickly here. I know he's got to say all the right political things, blah, 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 blah. And he's very good at doing that. But I think he must know, in his heart of hearts, he must know there's 6 or 7 players here. are never going to make it. They shouldn't have got this far. I've got to get rid of them.
Well, you have to understand that you've got, and this isn't moaning about the past. This is like dealing with the reality that's gone through these guys' brains. You've got coaches like even Postecoglou, who, for all of his faults, wasn't a complete numbskull. He's arrogant and stupid and pious and, living in his own island mentally. But you go from seeing Harry Kane in training and Harry Kane playing for you in the first team, even in a pre-season, to then having Richarlison, who can't hit a cow's ass with a banjo. And then you're fielding Tell and Odebear on the basis you don't have anybody else because Richarlison was on the bench. These are players who are only superior to Richarlison. I hate to break it to everybody, but you could put me and Tony on playing as our attacking duo, and we would be an improvement on Richarlison.
We could stand still in the penalty area, mate, and still be. We could stand still in the penalty area, mate, and still be an improvement on those.
Yeah, I mean they're just desperate, and the idea that it's Thomas Frank's fault is not even naive. This again is people who don't understand football. They fundamentally don't have it within them, and this is why I keep on banging on about the focus. We need to. I don't want to sound like you know who, but we need to eradicate daft voices in the game because it's not helping the game. It's not helping the game at all.
If there were still voices even towards the end were saying about Ange should be given another season, another transfer window, etc. And we know the insanity of those particular comments. So, but those supporters who say that can't possibly have any basis, rational, and I know irrational doesn't necessarily apply in football because it's
you're talking about rationale is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, rationale. That's it. Yeah, they can't have a serious rationale about why Frank is not the right man for the job when he's been in situ for 5, 6 or 7 games now, realistically, properly, and is now frankly he has improved them. I know it sounds really weird, but he had improved them because at least they have a structure. At least we can see a structure. The fact that we don't have the players that can fit in that structure is another matter. But Frank clearly knows what he wants to do. It's like giving a child one of those puzzles, those box puzzles where you got to slot the pieces in.
Yep.
Right. Except you give the child all stars and the box shapes are all squares.
Yeah. No, 100%.
What's he supposed to do with that?
I mean, he got away with it. I have to say, he got away with it, and he did the right thing. He got I think it was Tell he took up to the fans after he scored that goal. Goal was great. There was no such thing as a bad goal. They all count. A rose is a rose is a rose. Blah blah blah. But it was a deflection.
Yeah,
that's the reality of it. And if it hadn't, and when you're dealing with, if it's Harry Kane, and we know we had that thing with him and Ericsson, and it went off my back, and I swear on my daughter's life, and all this nonsense. When you're at the elite level, it's not really worth getting bent out of shape over because you're scoring so many goals, you're scoring so many excellent goals, it doesn't matter. But when you're at Tell's level, you need to really make a noise about it, however it goes in, and you need to be incredibly sympathetic because he's on the floor otherwise. And it comes across almost as bullying. But that was a deflection because that, to quote the Jack Nicholson film, is as good as it gets.
But
we've seen him play.
Wishes don't make good players, mate. Players make good players.
Absolutely. And I don't think there's a future for these guys in the sport. If there is, it's in lower divisions. And this is one of the morals of the story that all the Ange sexuals are going to have to try and cope with. But I don't think they will. I think that a lot of comments in football, I've learned over the years with the comment section, somebody will say something ridiculously, something that lacks finesse and fine-tuning mentally, and you give them a counter argument and they never reply. That, oh, well, I'm busy. I'm going off to do this. And we need to get rid of those people. I don't mean in a dark way, like a crystal knack. I mean, we need to get rid of them, as in just go and do something else.
When we say
don't provoke the adults.
Yeah, you mean when you say when you're not in a dark way, you don't mean in a Fred and Rose West sort of way.
I mean, there is no need to incorporate them in your home improvements. Maddie, no, wait. So needy, some of these people, really.
I know, honestly. But the thing is that when you look at somebody like Ange, for instance, and it was really noticeable. My mate, who's he's a Forest supporter, and he would absolutely he just went no. What is that guy? What is Marinakis on about? No, never, not at our club, never.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Anyway.
I think dragging Marinakis into the thing is it's not unhelpful, but the problem is that Ange is exposed at this level, and this recent times with the business with Ange and the business with Thomas Frank, and seeing real struggles because of what are pretty clear common denominators. These are things that reveal to us that you need to have your brain engaged. Otherwise.
Also, it should also be brought to people's attention as well. Again, it is, as you quite rightly say, early in the season, we're sixth place. We played 8, won 4, drawn 2, lost 2. Liverpool have played 8, won 5, and lost 3.
Yeah.
So and they're on the same points as us, and yet they were everybody's favourite to go and run away with the league again, and they'd spent an absolute bloody fortune in the summer. And I think this is Slot is a great. I still don't care. Slot is a great manager. I'm sure he'll get it right.
No,
But,
Slot's a fabulous coach. He conducts himself well. He speaks well. I mean, there's nothing not to like about the guy. We interviewed him, and he turned us down, which I still feel speaks volumes. City are second, as you say. Bournemouth are in the mix.
Yeah.
I know it's only 8 games in, but again, to go over my usual mantra, why do we leave it till the last minute and then we're begging and wishing and hoping and praying that we can scrape together enough points to get into a lower level of football in Europe? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I'd rather be where we are right now, regardless of how disappointing the last few games at home have been. Where we are now is still a relatively healthy position compared to where we were last season, where we were flouting relegation for 85% of the season.
Well, I mean, for those of you joining us late, Nottingham Forest are currently in 18th. If you want to know what stupid tastes like, if you want to know what colour stupid is, have a look at the Premier League table.
Yeah,
it's not complicated. It's far from.
What does it say? What's the phrase? The facts don't care about feelings.
Yeah, and that's why we are very happy doing this. We have great subscribers, and this is a recluse. This is an executive VIP. I mean, Chris is up in the clouds at the moment having his foot rub, and this is the equivalent of it when you're talking about being here down on earth and watching a YouTube or a TikTok video.
What really is stupid when you see some of the comments that are chucking around is that the thing is they don't stand up to even the most basic of scrutiny. It's all about, oh, well, Tell's going to come good. Odebear's going to come good. Oh, give Ange another season. Oh, this, that. No, just stop living in denial. Denial is not a river in Egypt, as they say.
Yeah. No, absolutely right. Because, like I said to you, and when you try and counter with these people, they just vanish. They just vanish. Nobody hangs around. And when you look at the accounts on social media, they're followed by like 8 people. I mean, it gives me a shiver down my spine if I stop for a moment to think, I wonder what that person looks like. I wonder what that person does for a living. And then, of course, you'll get people say, why are you being so judgmental? Well, I'm just wondering why that person is so mental. That's why I'm judging them, because why would somebody come up with hold a viewpoint which is so detached from reality to the point of autism? I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
Mate. I couldn't agree more. And the thing is, as well, what's really annoying is there's I can't remember. I think it's Brian Cox. The professor Brian Cox.
Yeah.
Pretty brilliant guy. I just love watching his programs and what have you. But
I wouldn't imagine you understand much of what you're watching there, Tone.
I think that's a rather how should we say?
Accurate.
Fuck off. Just fuck off.
So listen,
Mate,
we've got
I know a black hole when I'm looking at one, mate. That's all I
yeah.
say.
I know I know what a black hole feels to fall into. I tell you.
Yeah.
We've got Monaco during the week. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Oh, that God knows. I mean, that could go either way, couldn't it? Let's face it. At the moment, I mean,
Well, we're
Monaco, is that Eric
away.
Dyer? Was where Eric Dyer plays for him, doesn't he? Monaco.
Is it no?
Yeah, I'm sure he plays for Monaco.
Has he left Zifarzaland?
Yeah, I'm sure he plays for Monaco. I'm sure I saw him in a. I'll double check, but I'm sure he plays for Monaco. But
God
yeah,
almighty.
listen. The last, just to cover while I find out. Monaco, we've got Monaco. Then we've got Everton away. Then we've got
Oh,
Newcastle away. Tottenham.
lovely.
Then we've got Chelsea at home, and then we're home to Copenhagen, and then we're home to United. Those are not 6 fixtures that are filling me with a great deal of hope right now.
Right, the Monaco game, the bookies, as you say, could go either way. With 2.38, they are threes, and the draw 3.65. So there's no great overwhelming bang bang. This is going to be exciting thing going on around that. But
Yeah,
I got
I
to
am
say,
correct. Mr. Dyer does play for Monaco.
goodness me. So again, once we've had all the cooing over his non-event of a career, we've then got Newcastle. What was it? Everton, Newcastle, and then who was it?
Everton, Newcastle, Chelsea, Copenhagen, and Man United.
God Almighty! Well, this is going to
That's
be.
a run.
I tell you what, there's going to be some blood on the carpet. That's all.
Mate, that's a rundown damnation alley. I think that's what you would call it, a rundown damnation alley.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to get G'd up for those games, just put "Damnation Blues" by AC/DC on very loud.
Mate, this is the football equivalent of an apocalyptic sci-fi movie.
This is Armageddon, but nobody gets the girl. That's what
Yeah,
happens.
more like Armageddon out of here.
Right, I think we've hit the hour mark, and I think we've done
do.
awfully well with the 2 wheels on our wagon. Chris, we sincerely hope you don't fall out of the sky. Tony, it's been a pleasure to see you and your similar guano, different day. So yes, I shall be boring you all about my pub. Well, as I say, it's my pub. It's a loose collection of gas meter thieves that I've got involved with. But it's going to be quite exciting. And when they open the HS2, you're only 45 minutes from Euston. So
marketing, mate. It's all branding. It's all branding. You've learned from the master, haven't you?
Yeah. Not off, great mate. Right, that's it for now. We love you lots more than we can say. There is love in our hearts, but not so much for Spurs, but more for you. That's it. Good luck. Keep it on. And he hits the end recording button.